Fellow Ambazonians, thank you for joining. If you are just joining, thank you for coming. Um, these are very, very critical times in our revolution, and I think that it is very important that we always stay focused and keep our people up to date and keep our people up to speed. And I think informations and things are happening these days with like kind of like a breakneck speed, speed of light. So it is important for us, as your servants, as your someone who is dedicated to save the Amazonian people, to always come on time to time when it's important, and pick out the relevant information and channel them to our people, and also to inform our people why certain information, certain events, certain situations are important for us. So things are going on, a lot of things are happening, and we need to put these things together. So fellow Ambazonians, I once again come again to tell you that this struggle, I always want to reiterate and I always want to reaffirm to every Ambazonians. We are the generation to bring freedom to our people. There is no generation that is going to continue to fight this fight. We are not going to pass this battle to our children. When we put the guns down in Boya, we are going to put the guns down when we have independence. So if you are dreaming, if you are confused, or if you are still doubting and on the fence, I want to wake up your spirit that we are the ones. We are the ones, you and me. When we are talking about leadership, when we are talking about servantship, when we are talking about stewardship, you are the leader. We are the community. We are the people, and we are the soldiers to fight down the Cameroon government and bring freedom to Ambazonia. There is nobody who is going to do that for you and for me. We have to do that for ourselves. This is a mission that we are the only ones. We are the only ones, my people, I repeat, to fight and to bring freedom for our people. Because freedom is not given, freedom is taken. And if you think and if you are mistaken that somebody is going to come from Jerusalem or from Nazareth to fight and give your independence, then you are wrong. It has never happened before, and we are not going to be the first. So I always call and I beg and I pledge on all Ambazonians, on ground zero, on ground one, and in the diaspora. Please, please, we must all come together. We must join hand on deck. We must all fight together to fight and defend our homeland, to protect our responsibility, our right to life, and to protect our women and children, and to fight and restore our independence, so that we all can collectively own the result of a free Ambazonia. Think about it. If somebody fight for you and they get to Boya, you will not want to, you will feel a deficiency of not being part of the journey. We must all fight together so we get to Boya together as one nation. And that is why it is important. Everybody have a role to play in this revolution. Everybody have a role to play. You don't have to be a leader, or you don't have to be a big general, but your small contribution is very important. Without your contribution, our journey to Boya will be delayed. So it is important everybody understand that we must play our various roles. No matter how small your role is, it is important and it is needed. So don't give up and don't be lazy. You have to wake up and you have to always stand still to defend the freedom of your people at all times. And fellow Ambazonians, as your main frontline activist, servant, and also as your diplomat who is engaged fully in the international community, I always want to draw your attention to what is happening around the world. I have been telling Ambazonians that the international community is very, very complex. It's a very complex place. And when we have opportunities, we must always mastermind them. We must always take our shot when we have the gun. And if you look now at the moment, the international community is very busy with the coronavirus. The whole international system is shut down, and everybody is talking about coronavirus. Every government, every institution, United Nations, and everyone is focused on the coronavirus. So everything is kind of in a hole. And this is something that we must always remember, that the time is going. When we have our time, when we have our opportunities, we must take our shot, because we don't know what is coming tomorrow. And as we see now, the world and the international community is in a very different place, and things are very difficult for every person, not only for Ambazonians. So we must understand these things, and we must be able to take the right opportunities when they arrive. When the opportunity comes, we must maximize them, Ambazonians. So please, comrade, you are watching this video, kindly share, kindly share. We have like 30 people watching now. If you share this link, we get 60 persons. Please, it is at least your own support of what we are doing. It is at least your own contribution somehow. If I have the time to sit here and make this live show, you have the opportunity and the time to come and watch this live show. Please kindly just click share. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't affect you in any way. Please kindly share the video so others can watch. And now, Ambazonians, we have a lot of things to talk about. First, I will talk about this coronavirus issue. It is important we talk and educate our people on this coronavirus so that our people can be healthy and they can stay safe and we can continue with our revolution. And another one thing we have to talk about is the recent ceasefire that was unilateral ceasefire that was made by Akwanga Ebenezer on BBC. So we are going to talk about all the circumstances around that ceasefire that Akwanga made. Why did he make the ceasefire? What has happened to Akwanga Ebenezer? And why is Akwanga acting in that way? Who is behind all this? So we are going to look at those things and we are going to analyze them. And I will give Ambazonians always a fact. We are not here to crucify any person. We are always here to give information and people to see things, how things are happening. So you have to know what is going on behind the scene, because sometimes we feel very, very frustrated that these things are going on and there are things that we cannot tell in the public, but at least we can bring out certain things to talk about in the public. So I'll go to number one first thing. Coronavirus is real. It's not a hoax. It's a reality. It's a very bad virus. Our people must protect themselves, follow the regulations of doctors and scientists and the World Health Organization. And we have basic things. Isolate yourself, like social distancing. Stay at home. Don't go out when it's not necessary, when it's not needed. Buy your stuff, come at home, and stay indoors. Please stay indoors. Number two thing you need to do regularly, wash your hands with water and soap. We know not everyone have hot water in Ambazonia. You can boil water, not so hot, not boiling water. Don't cook your hands. Just at least warm water. Wash your hands and use soap and dry them as often as you can when you go out and you interact with people. Don't shake hands. Don't hug any person. Don't give peck on the jaw. All those things are not really needed right now. If you are sick, also try to stay at home. Don't carry your sickness to the society, to the public, and to affect more people. And please, I am a Christian myself. God is real and God is a wonderful thing. But again, not everything is going to be solved by prayers or fasting. So let us not bring too much religion into science. This is the reality. So stop going to church. All those big church meetings should be withheld. They shouldn't be going on now in Amazonia. And please don't think that, don't let us not be naive that if you're sick, every solution will come from God. Of course they do, but please let us respect science and believe in what science is saying. God is doing his own work. And please, when you are sick, go for medical help and get the right medication. Don't stay at home and pray and think that only God is going to save you. The Bible says God help those who help themselves. If you don't even help yourself in the first place, you'll be sick and you'll die and you'll lose your life while the world is watching. So without being said, I want to go quickly to the main issue here. I have already 15 minutes gone on this live show. I want to be just 1 hour here. The unilateral ceasefire made by Akwanga Ebenezer. Akwanga Ebenezer, a couple of days ago, was on BBC with the Swiss HD delegation talking about a ceasefire. So I want to bring certain aspect of that issue. So first of all, I want to say why did this happen? Why this happen? Okay, the United Nations Secretary General have been very outspoken recently that to combat the coronavirus, he has called for global ceasefire in every area of the world where there is conflict. Antonio Guterres has made that pronouncement and called for global ceasefire. He didn't say Ambazonian ceasefire or the ceasefire in Cameroon. He said global. It means everywhere where there is crisis, there is armed conflict, he has called and begged for the parties to call for ceasefire. So now, this is what has happened. The Swiss government, we presume, and we know from our sources, the Swiss government approached the Cameroon regime and tried to convince them to call for a ceasefire. And the Cameroon government says, no, never. They will never do it. And I'm going to tell you why the Cameroon government will never call for a ceasefire, no matter what happened. The Cameroon government refused, and they said they were not going to do it. So now the Swiss were looking for an alternative, and Akwanga became their scapegoat. Akwanga became their new recruit. So they have to employ someone, they have to put someone on their payroll, and that easy person to get was Akwanga. That they have to get Akwanga to play a game. Let me explain diplomacy to you guys. The Swiss went to Cameroon. Cameroon refused to give a ceasefire. Now the Swiss have to play a mind psychological game. And what did they do? They have to get Akwanga. Because the Swiss know that if they contact any other frontline movement like the AGOVC, the ADF on the ground, and they ask the ADF to call for a ceasefire, the Swiss know very well that the ADF is not going to accept to call for any ceasefire. So they need to get someone who can call for a ceasefire, and they can play a psychological game between two parties. So when they get Akwanga to come up to declare and to call for ceasefire, the Swiss are playing a mind game between the Cameroon government and the biggest armed force we have on the ground, which is the ADF and the leadership of Dr. Ayabacho Lucas. They try to show that, okay, look, this guy is calling for ceasefire, and they can put a pressure on this one. Oh, you have to also come on board and call for the same ceasefire as him. But they failed because Ambazonians are not fool. So I'm coming more into this issue. Just stay with me and hang on here. Listen very well. Hang on. Now, why did Cameroon government, listen, Ambazonia, in every normal circumstances, Cameroon government can never agree for a ceasefire. This is why. These are very basic facts. I'll give you perhaps 2 or 3 reasons why they can't. If the Cameroon government agrees to say, okay, we are calling for a ceasefire, it means that the Cameroon government is agreeing to the world that there is an armed conflict going on in Ambazonia, which is not anymore what they are trying to say that is an internal conflict, because the Cameroon government narrative is that they are calling Ambazonians terrorists. So if they come out to declare for a ceasefire, you cannot declare ceasefire when you are fighting a terrorist. You only declare ceasefire when you are fighting an armed conflict. So the Cameroon government can never declare a ceasefire, because if they declare ceasefire, it means they are telling the world that there is an armed conflict going on in Ambazonia, and that is something the Cameroon government is fighting so hard to deny. They are trying and they are doing all they can to make sure that the narrative remains that the crisis in Ambazonia is an internal conflict in Cameroon. Number 2 thing, if the Cameroon government will ever come out any day and declare a ceasefire, before you declare a ceasefire, you must discuss with both parties involved in the armed conflict, and you agree on certain positions and what you have to do, so everybody is going to maintain that. So if the Cameroon government will ever declare a ceasefire, it means that the Cameroon government is going to come out and tell the world that there is 2 parties involved in this thing that they are fighting. It means the Ambazonians and the Cameroon government. The Cameroon government is doing everything they can, and they have been fighting to make sure that they don't represent, they don't accept in any way that there is Ambazonia and there is the Republic of Cameroon. So they can never agree that there is any conflict going on within Ambazonia. They always call it terrorists. So that is why the Cameroon government can never and ever do that. And this is also why the Cameroon government is refusing for a third country mediation solution for the conflict. Because by acquiescing to international mediation, it directly means that you are saying that the conflict that is going on within your territory, within your country, it is an international conflict, and also you are already communicating that you are unable to find solutions. So you are looking for outside help. And those are 2 things the Cameroon government is really, they will die. You have to put a gun on their head for them to agree. The Cameroon government will never want to tell the world that, hey, listen, we have an international armed conflict here, and please, we don't have means, we cannot solve this problem. Can you come and mediate for us? So they are really refusing for these 2 things, and that is why the Cameroon government can never and ever declare ceasefire. They refuse to do this ceasefire, and the Swiss have to use Ebenezer Akwanga and to make him to come up to make this ceasefire. And immediately the Swiss lobby BBC and get Akwanga an interview, and they went there also on that interview. You have this Alexander Libinski, I have the video on Facebook as well. They went on and they were talking. It is very obvious now that Akwanga is the spokesperson for the Swiss HD. Akwanga has been recruited by them to play their cards and to go with them in everywhere that they go and whatever they want to do. So this this statement, in a way, is very conflicting in many ways, because when you look at the things now, Akwanga in his publication, in his ceasefire, he said that he called our conflict that is not an international conflict, that is an internal conflict. So this is where I get on the issue of with Mr. Akwanga Ebenezer as well. Akwanga is the man who, I think he's from Likumba, he's from Tiko, if you can say, and it's someone that we respect and we hold a lot of with gratitude for him, for his sacrifice and for what he has been fighting for this revolution. But again, we must always remind ourselves that nobody is indispensable in this revolution, and everybody is paying their own price. Nobody's price is more than anyone. Ambazonians, we are all equal in this revolution, and we must all fight together. Now, Akwanga making a statement, this is where my stomach was boiling, and this is where I was so angry. I want to repeat this and I make this very clear, even to anybody. I want to say this to Nambere, to Nkongo Success, to what is his name, Yannick Sikor, to Akwanga, anybody who want to backslide in this revolution. If you are tired, if you are tired, pack your bags and go quietly. The same way you join this struggle, nobody forced you to join. Whenever you are tired, you pack your bags and go quietly. Don't go out and start to try to speak on behalf of all Southern Cameroonians. Don't speak on our behalf. Nobody send you or anyone to go and speak on our behalf. We don't want that. So you are free to backslide. You are free to pack your bags and quit, but don't go and start to try to speak on our behalf. So Akwanga have the audacity of going out and saying that our conflict is not an international conflict. That is where I have a personal problem with that kind of a statement. Because I want to put this, if Akwanga need to tell the people of Southern Cameroons, Akwanga need to tell the people of Southern Cameroon. Even me, I was shocked and I was dumbfounded when I read his publication. Akwanga need to tell me and 8 million Southern Cameroonians that for the past 20-something years that Akwanga has been in this revolution, Akwanga has been always saying that the presence of Cameroon government in Ambazonia is that of occupation, that Ambazonia is an independent territory, Ambazonia is an independent country with international demarcated borders. We are not going to go down to history to educate anyone about this. We all know. And these are the things Akwanga have been preaching for the past 20-something years, that Southern Cameroon is an independent country with an independent border, an independent date of separate of independence. Akwanga has been preaching this for the past 20-something years. My question now is, what has changed? Why has Akwanga all of a sudden backslided and is now an enemy of everything he has stood for the past 20 years? Why? What has happened that Akwanga is making a 360-degree turn of his position, of now saying that the conflict that we find ourselves in is not an international conflict? My people, Akwanga need to answer us. And these are the things I want you to take it as a reasonable person, as an educated Ambazonian, to ask Akwanga, what has changed? Why is Akwanga now saying that our conflict is not an international conflict? That is a place that I have a very, very, very troublesome temperament with this kind of issue. Because if Akwanga is tired of this struggle, Akwanga, I advise you, Akwanga, I recommend to you now to take a break and step out, and we are going to take this struggle to Buea. Akwanga is already an old man who have been tortured and battered in Kundenge, and to an extent that he doesn't function properly. His family members and relatives have been calling us and giving us information that we should please take it easy on the man. We understand Akwanga may be suffering from some kind of trauma or whatever that has happened to him in Kundenge. Akwanga, it is best for you to sit behind, relax, and let us young people take this struggle to the finish line. And I want to assure any person who thinks that they can say this revolution, that is not going to work. Because young men and women who are out there like me, young Ambazonians, we have more than 50 years to live. And 50 years we shall fight till we get to Buea. If you decide to join Cameroon government, I will assure you that we are going to carry guns even to you, even to your homes. We are going to deal with every single Ambazonian, every single person who stands on our way. We shall come to you as well as we get the Cameroon government. So this is my bond with Akwanga. You have the audacity to go up and say our struggle is not an international conflict. Can you tell us why? Why have you become the Judas Iscariot of this revolution? Why, Akwanga? Why have you become the sellout who is trying now to dig the grave of Southern Cameroonians? Why, Akwanga? For the past 20-something years, I have respected you. I have followed you. I have imitated your courage of what you have articulated, that Southern Cameroon is an independent country with an independent border. You have preached this message that the Cameroon government presence in Southern Cameroon is that of occupation. Akwanga, why are you now all of a sudden saying that our conflict is not an international conflict? My brother, why? Is it because of something somebody have promised you? Is it a few coins of gold you're selling your people to get from the Swiss or from Cameroon government? Why, Akwanga? And this is something that you must come out and tell people of Southern Cameroons. Even if, Akwanga, you want to call your ceasefire of your soldiers, you may be entitled to that. But Akwanga, you have no audacity, you have no right, you have in no capacity, you don't have any capacity to go out and make such a pronouncement that our struggle is not an international conflict. You are wrong and you are not in the position to make that statement. Because that is the truth you are trying to twist. We have respected some of you people in this struggle, but we are at the point where I am telling Amazonians, we shall not fold our arms and watch our future being hijacked. We cannot fold our arms and watch our lives being destroyed by some old men who think that they own Southern Cameroons. Akwanga, you were in prison for how long? I don't give a fuck about it. You were in prison for how long? I don't give a heck about it, Akwanga Ebenezer. Or you or any other person. I don't care. When you look how many people who have died, no one single Southern Cameroonian can claim that they have a right more than any other person. No one of them. Mami Apin have died. Sam Sawyer have died. General Ivo have died. Many people have lost their lives in thousands. So Akwanga, your prison sentence in Yaoundé is nothing compared to the life lost by many Ambazonians. There's nothing to that. So I don't want to see any scenario where any leader will get it in their head that they own Southern Cameroon. Even Sisiko, who is there in prison, Sisiko knows that he doesn't own this struggle. No one person is indispensable or bigger than this revolution. No. We respect everybody's sacrifice. If I fall tomorrow, Ambazonians, move forward. If I come forward tomorrow, Ambazonians, I say something different from what I'm saying today, Ambazonians, I tell you, dump me and move forward with your struggle. Go ahead. So Akwanga must get this very clear. If it takes small boys like me to tell him, I will tell him that Akwanga, you are wrong and you are now in the dustbin of history. Akwanga, you are nothing now in the eyes of Southern Cameroons and you will never be remembered for anything. All your good work you have done, you have destroyed them again. This is very clear. Listen, people must understand that it takes a lot to do good things, but it's very easy to destroy. It is very difficult to build and to construct, but it's very easy to destroy. Akwanga have destroyed himself. You have destroyed everything you have worked for. Right now, at the moment, Akwanga Ebenezer, nobody will remember you as somebody who fought along with your people. You are now a traitor. You are now a betrayer. You are a villain and you are a thief. You are a thief, Akwanga, because you are a thief because you refuse and you come up in broad daylight to deny something you have stood for over 25 years. You went to prison in Yaoundé because you were preaching that Cameroon is occupying Southern Cameroon, because you were preaching that Southern Cameroon is an independent country with an independent boundary, with an independent demarcated borders, with their own flag and government. And today you come up because you have some small chicken change given to you to buy some few suits and travel around by the Swiss HD to come out and make a communique to say the Southern Cameroons is part of Cameroon. Do you understand how that is damaging? Because Akwanga now is already supporting and cementing the narrative of the Cameroon government that Cameroon is one and indivisible. So Akwanga, if you are telling me today that Cameroon is one and indivisible, why the hell did you even go to prison in the first place? Why the hell are you living in America as a refugee now, Akwanga? Why? I traveled to Europe as a student. I didn't come to Europe as a refugee. I came to study by myself and I ended up living in Europe. But you left your country and you flee away by all means as a refugee, running out in the night like a thief because you were fighting that Cameroon is not one and Cameroon is not part of Amazonia. And today, because you have been bribed, because you are corrupt, because you have been used by the devil now, you want to come out and tell us that Cameroon is one and indivisible. The statement that Akwanga put out, I don't even care about his unilateral ceasefire because Akwanga don't even have forces on the ground. How many forces does Akwanga have on the ground? How many? He doesn't have them. But the point that Akwanga is coming out and trying to say that Southern Cameroon's conflict is not an international conflict, If I was living in America, Akwanga, I will drive to your doorstep and the police will separate you and me. Because people like you, who thinks that you own Southern Cameroons, we need to teach you a lesson. And that lesson, we are going to vomit you. Ambazonians are going to vomit you because you are now a poison. You are like a poison. When you eat poison and you know that it's poison, you vomit poison. And we are going to vomit you, Akwanga, because from now on, you are in the dustbin of history of Southern Cameroons, and you are nothing, and like a persona non grata. The Cameroon government is talking every day and night and keeping their narrative that Cameroon is one and indivisible. And Akwanga Ebenezer have joined them. Akwanga Ebenezer have joined the Cameroon government with a narrative that Cameroon is one and indivisible, and Southern Cameroons and Ambazonia is part of Cameroon. That is what Akwanga is saying by saying that the conflict in Southern Cameroon is not an international conflict. We are talking about international conflict. It's a very simple definition. It's a conflict between two countries. So if Akwanga doesn't even see Southern Cameroon as a country, why the hell was Akwanga in prison for the past? Why was Akwanga even in this struggle for over 20 years? That is something Akwanga needs to tell Ambazonians. What have changed? What has happened? Is it the money they have bribed him? Or have the borders of Southern Cameroon drifted into La Republic of Cameroon? Have we experienced some kind of earthquake or land drifting without we don't understand, we don't know? Akwanga, you need to tell us. You need to tell us. Because if you think that you can sit in America, you can sit in your living room in America where you broadcast and make your channel and make your stupid things, and you are going to sell the life of 8 million people, I am telling you, Mr. Man, you are wrong. You are wrong and you are very wrong, and we will not forgive you for that. Ambazonians are not going to forgive any single person who tried to betray them in any way. We shall not. We shall not. And you are not indispensable. Akwanga thinks that he owns this revolution. But I'm telling you, Akwanga, you are nothing in this revolution. Akwanga, you are nothing. I am not saying this because I am because of any reason. But I'm just saying that every person in this revolution, you are nothing. We are fighting. This revolution is bigger than every person. It's not about being proud. It's not about respect. I want you to get my point here. This revolution is bigger than any Ambazonia. No Ambazonia is anything compared to this revolution. So nobody should get that in their head. Come, even Akwanga, even Dr. Abacho Lucas. He is a very respectable man who commands a lot of soldiers. And he have a very big frontline movement. I respect him from that. But when I talk with Ayabacho Lucas all the time, he always gives that impression that, yes, Ambazonia is bigger than me. And this is not my battle. I recently spoke with Ayabacho Lucas a couple of days ago. And I was surprised of him telling me that, hey, Comrade Eugene, I am getting old. We are getting old. We are hoping that young men like you will stand up in the test of time to fill our gap when we are gone. But Akwanga Ebenezer thinks that he's going to live for 100 years and he's going to still be there. Because Akwanga is power drunk. Akwanga wants power. These leaders must understand that none of them is indispensable. None of them. No person is indispensable. Even if you're on the ground fighting, nobody is bigger than anybody in this revolution. And this struggle is bigger than every person. And Akwanga, whatever you are doing, I understand your family is saying that you have some mental illness, that you have been beaten and battered in Yaoundé in the prison and you are now not yourself. You have lost your mind. I pity you and I pray you recover. But please, this struggle is not a game. Because the amount of people who have died, listen, you people don't know, you don't understand. I am very angry with this man, with what he did. When this struggle kicked off in 2016, there were young boys and girls that we were working with them in Bamenda, in different places. They were the first on them, that was 1st of October when there was a mass shooting of Ambazonians in 2017. There was a 13-year-old boy who was talking with me, and they shot him on his chest with close range. And I had a video of him dying. I sleep every day and I think about that young boy. He went to the street and he died. And there are many others that we have been talking to every day and night. Akwanga, if you have sold your soul to the devil, don't dare to bring that to Ambazonia, because many people have died that I am accountable for them. And I will not in any way compromise, because I know those who have given their lives for this struggle. People that we have talking to and we get up the next morning that we hear that they are dead, they are gone. We will not betray them. We shall not betray those people. And Akwanga, you are already a dead man in the eyes of Southern Cameroons. Nobody wants you dead. Nobody is coming after your life. This is not a threat or any stuff. No. But what I mean is that you are already dead spiritually. In the eyes of Southern Cameroons, Akwanga is a dead man. I don't mean that anybody is coming after you. No, you don't exist anymore and you are gone because you have already crossed the line. You crossed the line to join the enemy. You crossed the line to join the enemy, and we wish you good luck, Akwanga. We wish you good luck. We wish you good luck. We wish you good luck. You will not come here and try to think that Ambazonia belongs to you. No. Akwanga need to tell us. Akwanga, you must tell us what has changed. What has changed that you now, after you were in prison for more than how many years, I don't know, you are now a refugee in America because of what you stood for, and now you are telling the world that the conflict in Ambazonia is not an international conflict. Akwanga, what has changed? Why have you changed your position? Why have you turned around from something you believed in and you lived in for many years? Akwanga, you need to tell us. You need to tell us, my countryman. You have to tell our people what is going on. So now, when we are looking at this, I'll move on a bit. I want to give people more substance. The Swiss HD approached the Cameroon government and begged the Cameroon government to make a ceasefire. The Cameroon government said no, because I have already given you why the Cameroon government cannot make a ceasefire. The Cameroon government in the first place is already denying that there is no armed conflict in Cameroons, what they call Cameroons. That is Ambazonia as well. So why do you want them? Why do you even think that they will make a ceasefire when they even say there's no conflict? They can't. That's the first thing. Number two, Cameroon government can never declare a ceasefire, because if they declare a ceasefire, they already acknowledge Southern Cameroon as another party. The Cameroon government will never do that. Number three, the Cameroon government cannot declare a ceasefire because they are not fighting. There's no war in Cameroon as they claim. The Cameroon government is saying that they are fighting terrorists. They call Ayabacho terrorists. They call Tapang Aibo terrorists. Mark Barata terrorists. Eric Tato terrorists. All of us, we are terrorists. We are not. They don't want to give us our own identity. So the Cameroon government will not, and that is why the Cameroon government is refusing to acquiesce into an international mediation. Because if they join the Swiss mediation, it means that they are saying that they have a conflict, which is an international conflict, and also they are not able to solve the conflict, and they are looking for international support to resolve the conflict. This is why Cameroon government cannot call a ceasefire. Now, the Swiss knew this, and they tried and they failed. So the Swiss now turn around to play a political diplomatic game, a side game. They quickly get Akwanga, recruit him, give him a big envelope, and they tell Akwanga to come out and make a ceasefire declaration. And then the Swiss also now want to use this to play a mind game on the Cameroon government and to put them pressure to declare ceasefire as well, and also to put pressure on the Ambazonian Defense Forces for them to also declare ceasefire, because the Swiss know that the Ambazonian Defense Forces are never going to do that. So that is why the Swiss did what they did. That's why they have to play that. And you can see how they pull the string, my people. Listen, since whenever have the BBC interviewed Akwanga Ebenezer? Never. It was only for this issue that the Swiss propped him up. And as soon as Akwanga made the declaration of the ceasefire, the Swiss got him an interview with BBC. And right away, the United Nations Security, United Nations SG office acknowledged the ceasefire made by Akwanga, because the Swiss government pushed it forward for them to acknowledge it. All those things are very, very, dirty diplomacy they are playing. Now, Akwanga Ebenezer is playing a very dangerous role. Very dangerous role now. It's very bad and it's very sad. Because Akwanga is playing the role now as what we call, in normal sense, house nigger or house slave. This slave who is working with the occupiers to enslave his people. The black man, the wicked black man who is working with the colonialists to enslave the black people. So Akwanga is there now, and they will use him anyway. They don't even care if Akwanga have soldiers on the ground, or they know very well Akwanga have no soldiers on the ground. The Swiss know very well Akwanga have no stakes on the ground. But the Swiss are going to use him. They will parade him everywhere and use him as the voice of Southern Cameroons, whether we like it or not. That is what they are going to do. And that's why I'm saying that Akwanga is playing a very, very bad, dangerous role at this moment in this revolution. And we call on Akwanga that he must refrain and stop and quit and pack his bags and sit quiet in America. This struggle have given him Akwanga a lot. Because of this struggle, Akwanga is now, living in America or something. He should take that quietly and be quiet. There are many Southern Cameroons who have died, and they need their freedom, and nobody should betray them. Now, let's talk about this ceasefire thing. Let's talk about this ceasefire. Listen, Ambazonians, if you want to call a ceasefire in a struggle, in an armed conflict, there are various things that you have to take into consideration. That must happen. You must look at those various things. First of all, you cannot declare unilateral ceasefire. You cannot. You can't. It's just like how I can say. It's just like you are living in a house with somebody, and you just get up to declare, say, okay, hey, I'm going to, give this house, rent it to someone without telling them. No, you have to ask their opinion. If you want to declare a ceasefire in any armed conflict, you must talk with all the conflict, with all the parties. You can't go on to talk with, you cannot declare unilateral ceasefire. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You must talk with all the parties fighting, agree on position that everyone is going to hold, and you see how that is going to play out. Now, even if you declare, before you want to declare, and when you declare a ceasefire in an armed conflict, you must do what I have to say. You have to ask for monitoring partners. Like countries have to be, even countries or organizations have to be monitors who are going to observe the ceasefire. Did Akwanga and HD have any person to monitor the ceasefire they declare? No. So everything is a sham, it's a botched deal, and it's just a political propaganda to betray the struggle of Southern Cameroons. If you want to declare a proper ceasefire, this is what is going to happen. First of all, before we go into that, let me go from the basis. From the basis, and Ambazonians, I need to always explain this thing to people, so everybody should get this thing, and we should get the facts, get the truth and the details. Not about emotions. Nobody have any emotions here. Nobody hate Akwanga or any jealousy. No, it's the fact and the truth. So let me break it down bit by bit. Now, regarding the coronavirus that Ambazonians are concerned about, and the SG of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, called for a ceasefire because of the coronavirus, that people can take care of themselves. That is good. That is fantastic. We are concerned about coronavirus for our people. We are. All of us, we are. But now, we, the people of Southern Cameroon, we are under occupation. The war was declared on us by the Cameroon government. And the Cameroon government is in control of our territory. At the moment, as we speak, we don't control Ambazonia. We don't. We don't control Ambazonia also, not because we are weak, but because it is our strategy of the guerrilla war we are fighting. We cannot occupy territories and control them. We don't. Why? Because I have said this to you people on and time and again. And Dr. Ayabacho has been also saying the same thing in our strategy. We cannot hold territory in a guerrilla war because you have to have responsibility to protect their citizens if you hold the territory. So if we, for example, if we were in control of, let's say Batibo, the Momo, if we were in control of the Momo division, for example, it means that we were supposed to make sure that everybody there is protected for the coronavirus, and we give them everything they need. But because Ambazonia is under occupation, as we speak, Ambazonia is under occupation, so the Cameroon government have the responsibility to protect the people. This is that simple. It is not our place. We don't have the responsibility to protect Ambazonians because the Cameroon government is the occupation force in Ambazonia. It is their duty. It is their responsibility. And the international community knows that. The international community is going to hold them accountable, not Ambazonians. So we don't even have to worry about calling a ceasefire because of coronavirus. No, Ambazonians. Ambazonia is under occupation. So the Cameroon government is the one to worry about the coronavirus in Ambazonia because they are the occupational force in Ambazonia, not Ambazonians. You cannot be in prison and you are worrying about your health in prison because the person who keeps you in prison is responsible of your health. The Cameroon government is keeping Ambazonians in prison. They should be concerned about their health in terms of coronavirus, not the prisoners. Not the prisoners. We are prisoners in our own country. And you cannot tell the prisoners to take care of themselves because the prisoners are under occupation. So we don't have to worry about the coronavirus. The Cameroon government is going to be the responsible person that the international community is going to ask, not Ambazonians. And this is the thing we are telling one of our people to know. So Akwanga, in the first place of declaring a ceasefire, Akwanga is wrong because there's no need for us to do that. There's no need. because the Cameroon government is a responsible occupational force in southern Cameroon. So now I want to take a moment. Please, I beg those of you who are watching, please just click share, because we are now in the core of in the main discussion, so others can join. Please, please, please. Let us get people to join on board. Click share and let us. I am seeing here almost 65 share. If you click, we have 100 and some people watching. We click share, we shall get at least 200 and some people watching, and the message is going to go far. Because the point is, I want people to get these facts. Southern Cameroon is under occupation. The occupational regime of Southern Cameroon is responsible to protect all citizens in Southern Cameroon, even if they are not their citizens. That is the international basic law. The Cameroon government have the responsibility to protect. So it is not our place to even worry about coronavirus. Because we are under occupation, the Cameroon government have that duty. And the international community knows that, the UN knows. That's why we see the UN always blame them and hold them accountable, because they're the occupational force. If we were in control of Batibo, of Momo division, as we are talking about this, then we will be sitting down and say, okay, hey, what do we do now regarding the coronavirus? We will find a way out and find ways to protect our civilians. That is the way, because under international law, we will be held accountable if we don't do anything. So right now, Ambazonians declaring or worrying about a ceasefire is a misplaced priority. And by the way, our people are dying of the bullets of the Cameroon government soldiers, not even coronavirus. Our people have died in their thousands, killed by the bullet of the soldiers of PaulBiya regime, not by coronavirus. And coronavirus have not killed one single Ambazonian. So we are really still in a very safe zone. But still, we don't have to worry about coronavirus. Our problem is the war in our land, not coronavirus. If the world want to help us, if anybody want to help Ambazonians, they have to get the Cameroon government to declare the ceasefire of the war that they declare on Ambazonians, and pull their soldiers out and come on the table to talk with us for a negotiated settlement. That is the way to go. Listen, somebody storm into our home in Amazonia, rape our women, kill our men and children on the street like dogs, and turn around and then we are the one to apologize for them and beg them for peace. No, it doesn't work that way. Because you don't even give somebody forgiveness if they didn't ask for your forgiveness. You don't even give some person apology if they didn't ask for your apology. Cameroon government have not asked for our apology or for our forgiveness. And Akwanga is there running and crying to give to them when they haven't even demanded. It's a shame. It's a shame that a man who claims he's a PhD holder is now on a route on his own personal mission to sell his people and acting as if he's doing something like a favor for the people of Southern Cameroon. Akwanga, we know your mission. We know what you are up to. We know who you are working for. We know where you are. We know your position right now. You have declared very clearly yourself that the conflict is not an international conflict. You have declared clearly yourself that Ambazonia is part of Cameroon. That Cameroon is one and indivisible. Akwanga, Ebenezer, you are no more one of us. Akwanga, you left the day you put that communique out. You left and you were dead the day you put that interview out. And you stood against your people, Akwanga. For the people of Southern Cameroon, you are now in the dustbin of history. You are now in the dustbin of history. So, I am getting people to understand this stuff. Why the ceasefire is not our business. Because our land is under occupation. The Cameroon government is the number one occupational force in Ambazonia. So, they have the responsibility to look and to take care of every Ambazonian in the case regarding the coronavirus. We don't have to waste our sleep about this issue. And that is something we must know and we shall never get confused about. So I want to go forward again on this issue that we must understand that what are the implications when you declare a unilateral ceasefire? What are the implications when you declare a unilateral ceasefire? So even if you declare a unilateral ceasefire, first thing, you are very wrong, because you're supposed to consult all the parties involved before you declare. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't work that way. You must. Because now, look at how bad it is. Because Cameroon government is right into Ambazonia. The occupational forces are standing in front of our door with their guns. They are in Tiko, they are in Limbe, they are in Boya, they are in Kumba, they are in Batibo, they are in Kambe, they are in Gusi, they are in Tombe. They are everywhere. They are in Kiliwindi. They are in every city, village of Southern Cameroon. The enemy is in our villages. in every city, and you are declaring ceasefire when the enemy stands in front of your door. Are you stupid? Are you normal? Before you declare ceasefire, the enemy even need to leave your own territory and stand on their own territory before you declare ceasefire. You are declaring ceasefire when the enemy is still at war with you. How is that possible? Why is Akwanga betraying the people of Southern Cameroon? Why has Akwanga forsaken the people of Southern Cameroon? Why, Akwanga? Why? Akwanga, why? Why are you declaring war when the enemy is still fighting the war? You are declaring ceasefire when the enemy is still fighting the war. The enemy who declared the war is still very much in your cities, in your villages, in your homes, and the enemy is still slaughtering your children and women on the street like dogs as you are on BBC with your fancy cheap suit declaring a ceasefire. Akwanga, who are you working for? Who are you working for, Akwanga Ebenezer? You have to tell us. Why, Akwanga? Why? Why? If you want to declare ceasefire, you have to meet the parties. If we want to declare real ceasefire, this is how it's going to work. The Cameroon government comes on board, every party comes on board, and we discuss on the various positions that we are going to take. Because if you even declare ceasefire, you have to have already a plan, backup mechanism plan on how you are going to keep your soldiers prepared to get back on battle right away when anything happens. When you declare ceasefire, not like you declare ceasefire, you put your guns down and you go to party, or you put your gun down and travel. No, you declare ceasefire, but you hold your position because at any time it is battle on. But Akwanga is declaring ceasefire when the enemy is standing in front of his door. The enemy is in every of our cities and villages. That is absolute pure madness and stupidity. Akwanga, you must tell Ambazonians why. Why have you betrayed them this way? Why have you forsaken the people that you claim you are working for? Why, Akwanga? Why? Why? Because first of all, the Cameroon government is the first one to declare ceasefire. And when they declare ceasefire, they will make sure they work with Ambazonians and make sure we have a position agreement where every soldier and every party is going to stand and hold their ground and be ready to kick off back when the fight starts. But Akwanga declares ceasefire when the enemy is still active fighting in Ambazonia and when the enemy is still in our villages and our cities. It is very, very wrong. And that's why we are saying that you can never declare unilateral ceasefire in any conflict. You cannot. You have to decide with every parties before you declare such ceasefire in a battle time. And again, when you declare ceasefire, I said you have to have monitoring parties. You have to have people who are going to monitor the ceasefire to make sure that if somebody breaks the ceasefire, they can know that, okay, it was party A or party B who breaks the ceasefire. You don't just declare ceasefire and go to sleep. Akwanga, you are proving to us that all the time, all the things that you come on live and try to act as if you know about warfare and all this stuff, you don't even know nothing. You seem to be an empty-headed man just running around with ego, seeking power and position. That's all that you are doing. Because I am not even involved. I don't call myself as an expert in guerrilla warfare, but I know these basic things that you who claim to be an expert doesn't know. Or you know and you are just being corrupt and you have been bribed and now you are acting against your people. Because you know very well, Akwanga Ebenezer, you know very well that before you declare a ceasefire, you must discuss with all the parties involved. You must have already a backup plan of readiness, that your soldiers are going to be ready, that they can get back in action anytime when the ceasefire fails. Because you can declare ceasefire now in 2 minutes, and after 5 minutes, there's war back again. Ceasefire is not like the war is over, that you just put your guns down. Ceasefire means ceasefire. That's what it means. And the ceasefire can have truce anytime. It can be broken by any party, anytime. So if you declare ceasefire, you must already have your position that everybody holds. And there must be a party to monitor the ceasefire. So if anybody break the ceasefire, they can say, okay, you were the one who break the ceasefire, and they can know how to penalize you. But Akwanga have no agreement with the Cameroon government. Akwanga have no agreement with the other forces fighting on ground zero. Akwanga have only his agreement with the Swiss HD, the Swiss cheese, and went ahead on BBC and was declaring ceasefire. Akwanga, what have happened to you? What has happened to you, Akwanga? What have happened to you? Think about 1,000 people that have been killed in Southern Cameroon by the Cameroon government. And now you are working on their blood. You are going after blood money, Akwanga. You cannot declare unilateral ceasefire in any conflict. You can't. It must be a joint decision by every party. And Akwanga, you are proven to be a sellout and a traitor. You are a villain and you are a thief. You are now in this revolution just to get money and to put money for yourself in your pocket. And I'm going to say something shortly about this now. This is something I have been talking about for a long time to Ambazonians. That the people who even supposed to go in and start to, if we even have to go to any dialogue or negotiation, they have to be people who, that they have to be a negotiation team, not the leaders go to negotiate. Because when a leader go to negotiate, those who are the mediators who are negotiating, let me tell you, negotiation is a very dirty game. They will find something dirty about you and blackmail you to agree on certain things that they want you to agree on. So if we have to go on a mediation, our leaders are not even supposed to be there to negotiate. We must find Ambazonians with clean records. Because if you are a leader, there is one way or the other they can find something to pin you down. If Akwanga sits on the table to mediate, if Ayaba sits on the table to mediate, they will find something to pin Ayaba. They will find something. They must find something to pin him. So this. We can pin you here. We can charge you for this. We can judge you for this. We can take you to court, and they might compromise their position. That is why it is important when we're talking about mediation and negotiation. We need to find a team of Ambazonians who are people who are not even in the front line, who are not even known. So when the negotiation team is talking with them, they will not have anything to pull out to blackmail them. And those people will be in a position that they cannot compromise. This is the tactics we are talking about here. But Akwanga and Sako and Buhebet and Evis Kometa, they are running after the Swiss for mediation. When they know that the Swiss government can turn around and blackmail them to agree and compromise their position. It is very clear. That is how mediation works. And we already know Akwanga is under blackmailing himself. Akwanga has committed crimes in Ambazonia, that is war crimes, and there is proof and evidence. And the Swiss HD is using those facts and those things to make Akwanga becomes their Ngong dog. Akwanga is not their wine man dog. When they say go there, he go here. Come here, he come here. Sleep, he sleep. Jump, he jump. Back, he backs. Because they have him in their pocket. This is why our leaders must not be the one to face any person for negotiation. We must have teams and people who are going to lead Ambazonia for mediation and for negotiation talks, because there will be people who have no record or anything that the enemy or the negotiators can pull out to make them compromise their position. These are things when we say them, we don't say them out of out of thinking. We are saying this thing because they are science and they are facts, and these are the way things have to be done. These are the way things have to be done. You know, these are the way things have to be done. Because this is how we're supposed to go. And even if we want to call for negotiation for ceasefire, you don't call for ceasefire when you are in a position of weakness. Ambazonians, at this particular time, honestly, when we analyze our war, Cameroon government is ahead of us. That's something we can say. They have more soldiers than us on the ground, yes. And the Cameroon government, when I say they're ahead, I don't mean that they are winning. No, I don't mean they are winning. I mean that the Cameroon government is inside our territory. We are in a position of weakness because they are inside our towns and our villages. You cannot declare ceasefire when the enemy is next door. No. You can declare ceasefire when the enemy is out of your zone. The enemy is on their own borderland. And then you declare ceasefire so you can now really reposition yourself. But now Akwanga is declaring unilateral ceasefire when the enemy is still actively fighting in his territory, in his backyard. The enemy is still seriously fighting as he is declaring ceasefire in BBC in his cities. That is very, very wrong and is a very, very big betraying act. And Akwanga, it's obvious we know where you are now. And there's nothing to hide anymore, Akwanga Ebenezer. We don't want you to hide anymore. It is good that you come out like this and tell Amazonians that you are now an agent of Cameroon government, and you are now also like Sox and Congo, you are now like Nambere and others. The list is very long. People are dropping out. So please drop out and join them. The struggle must continue. Ambazonians will not compromise the struggle, and we will continue to fight till we get to Buea. Akwanga, without you, this struggle is not going to miss anything. Without you, this struggle is not going to be deficient in any stuff. Without you, this struggle will be stronger, and we shall move forward. Akwanga, you have saved Ambazonia, and Akwanga again, you have become a poison and a virus that Ambazonia must kill like the coronavirus. Ambazonia must kick you out by any means necessary. So I am explaining to our people why we cannot, we cannot declare ceasefire. It is not our position to declare ceasefire. The Cameroon government declare war on us. It's not our position to declare ceasefire because the Cameroon government is an occupational force in our territory. If they are worried about coronavirus, the Cameroon government is the one to worry about coronavirus. They are the ones that are occupying our territory. So we are not doing those kind of things. So all this, kind of tactics and treaty of these tactics to delay the freedom of Southern Cameroons and to take our people down, it's like, you don't come and think that you are one and indispensable in Southern Cameroon. No, you don't. So when I come out and I tell Ambazonians that Ebenezer is the new recruit of the Swiss HD, Akwanga Ebenezer is now working for the Cameroon government. This is why I am saying those things. You cannot declare unilateral ceasefire in an armed conflict. You cannot. You cannot do it. You must position and talk with every person, every party involved before you declare ceasefire. And again, it is not our place to declare ceasefire. The war was declared on us by the PaulBiya regime. The Cameroon government is in Ambazonia as an occupational force. They are the ones to declare ceasefire and back out of Ambazonia. Not Ambazonia declare ceasefire on the war that was declared on us. And the Swiss have approached the Cameroon government and tried to get them to declare ceasefire, but the Cameroon government refused because the Cameroon government cannot declare ceasefire because the Cameroon government is claiming that there is no armed conflict in Cameroon, in Ambazonia, so they cannot declare ceasefire when there's no armed conflict. The Cameroon government cannot declare ceasefire because the Cameroon government says they are fighting terrorists, not an armed conflict. It's not a war. The Cameroon government cannot declare ceasefire because if they declare ceasefire, it means they are saying that they have an international conflict that needs international mediation because they are not able to resolve it. These are the reasons why the Cameroon government will not declare ceasefire at any time. We must fight them until we defeat them in Ambazonia, and then the Cameroon government will come on and sign, a negotiation settlement of their defeat and surrender, not ceasefire. No, they will only surrender. They will not cease fire. You cannot, because this is how it works. The person who declare war never cease fire. They will only surrender. And okay, this is another one point that I just see somebody now send me a comment and was talking about it. Some people are talking about every part of the world there are ceasefire going on. The Syrian forces also declare ceasefire, and other places they declare ceasefire. Let me break it down for you, Ambazonians. Listen. Our armed conflict is very different from that in Syria. Don't compare our conflict with that in Syria. In Syria, different parties stood up and declared war. The Syrian soldiers declared war on the regime of Assad. Assad government declared war on them. Did we declare war on PaulBiya's regime? We didn't. They declared war on us. So you see the difference. So the Syrian people also, the Syrian soldiers, they declared war. So they have the responsibility and the capacity to declare a ceasefire. Now, why should they even declare ceasefire? The Syrian forces. Why should they? Because the Syrian forces control a big chunk of Syria. They have a big part of Syria that is under their government. They control that place, the economy, the security, the police, the army, and the people. So they have the responsibility over that entire population of a couple of millions of Syrians. That is why it is their duty to make sure they cease fire and allow for humanitarian help to make sure coronavirus is not spreading in that territory which they are governing. Akwanga Ebenezer, are you governing any part of Ambazonia? Are you? Why is Akwanga declaring ceasefire over Akwanga doesn't even govern any place in Ambazonia. He's declaring ceasefire. How is that possible? How? You only declare ceasefire over places that you are in control of. And Akwanga have no control over any like any pieces or, I don't know, bit of territory in Ambazonia, and is declaring ceasefire. He's just making a fool of himself. But we know that this is a move by the Swiss HD. The HD are coming up and they are propping up these things, and they prop Akwanga up. They buy him new suit. They make him look good. They project him as somebody. They make him look like a leader. They give Akwanga what Akwanga is. Listen, I know Akwanga very well. I have known Akwanga for a very long time. Akwanga is a man with very complex spirit. A man with a spirit that wants power and respect and admiration. That's Akwanga for you. Akwanga is a man that is easily being corrupt. Akwanga is a man who have no accountability to money and resources. Akwanga cannot be under any civilized administration that you will govern him. No. Akwanga is like a free rebel. He wants to do what he wants and how he wants it anytime. And that is not a leadership quality. That is not. And this is why the Swiss is using Akwanga. They see him. They see he's the weak link here in southern Cameroon. He's the weakest of all the leaders. He's the most vulnerable of all the leaders. He's the most egoistic of all the leaders. He's the most, novice when you talk about these things among all the leaders. And that's why they use him. When the white man comes to colonize Africa, he always goes to the weakest ones. He goes to the weak ones. The ones who are weak, but they have ego. The ones who are weak and have nothing to offer, they go and prop them up and try to make them to be something so they can use them to enslave the other Africans. And that is what Akwanga is doing. That is the role of Akwanga at this moment. Akwanga is now a very dangerous man in southern Cameroon. Akwanga is not the most dangerous person in southern Cameroon when it comes to this struggle. Akwanga's role now is very dangerous. Listen, nobody who have backslided in this struggle is dangerous as Akwanga. Akwanga is very dangerous now. Akwanga is the most dangerous person in southern Cameroon to speak. And we must refrain from Akwanga. We must avoid Akwanga. We must all avoid following him, ignore the man, and Ambazonians must vomit Akwanga. Akwanga is playing a very dangerous role at this moment, and these are things that our people need to know, our people have to understand, and we must always keep these things together. No Ambazonians have died for coronavirus, so why should we even cry about coronavirus? If you are talking about, it's good, let's declare ceasefire for coronavirus. Yes, we are all aware of the coronavirus. But our people are under occupation. More of our people are being killed and they are being slaughtered by the Cameroon soldiers, not the coronavirus. So the coronavirus is a responsibility on the hands of the occupational force in Amazonia and that Cameroon government. So Akwanga coming up to declare unilateral ceasefire is doing the the lip service for the Swiss HD, and we know that for sure, and that is the way. And that is what Akwanga is doing. And Akwanga is in a very dangerous role now. So this is what I'm coming to say, the way forward for southern Cameroons. The way forward that we need to go forward. And I spoke with them a couple of leaders, and I talked with Dr. Fontaine yesterday, and I spoke with them Dr. Ayaba today. I spoke with other leaders a couple of days with Yerimas, IG, and the other ones. So these are the things we need to do at the moment. Akwanga, Dr. Sako, Bu Hebet, Ebis Kometa, and their block that are in the Swiss talks. Those people should be one block. They are already a block. Yes, they are a block. The other leaders now are Yabacho Lucas, Sisiko Ayoktabe, Jomba Koro, Dr. Fontaine Niba, Weber, and all the other Southern Cameroonians. All of us, we now have to join and form one block. We have to go into this mediation in blocks. So when we go in blocks, this is how it works. There will be two blocks that are coming to represent Southern Cameroons, and the Cameroon government comes. When in that mediation process now, those who are negotiating, they will see which block have the highest stakes. So if we sit with them on the table, they will see that our block called the highest shot on the ground, and we are going to weigh in the mediation. So these other groups now, we are working very hard behind the scene. And I hope that very soon we must come forward together with a new block, we don't need to go and create organizations and after, we think that we must always create organizations, we must always create NGOs, new groups. No, we just need to form a mediation block because there's already one block. Because when we form this block, we step on and we listen. I have said this thing many times that we must join and we must get engaged with the Swiss process, the Swiss mediation, because everybody have endorsed that mediation, and we must get involved. But we are going to form a new block of different parties and join the mediation process. And we shall go in there and talk. So our own bloc, the new bloc, is going to have their own positions and their own recommendations and what they want. And Akwanga and his delegation with Sako, they will have their own bloc and have their own requirements. And then we are going to negotiate together and come out to something that is the best for Southern Cameroons. So I have talked to the leaders, I have presented them this plan, and I think this is where we have to go. This is how we have to go, because we already have countries on the sidelines who want to join this mediation process, and we are going to get this new bloc coming, and we bring these countries on board and take forward this mediation and go forward with this negotiation as we are seeing. So this is why we are saying that, because if we don't do this, the Swiss are continuing, and they will continue to take Akwanga and prop Akwanga up to use him to betray our people and to sell our revolution. So we must come up strongly with a mediation bloc that is going to involve all the other groups, and we shall approach the Swiss and get them on that we are going to be part of that mediation process. We are going to sit on the table there and talk with them, and we get the other countries on board, because we will not continue to give ground for nonchalant, novice, and egoistic maniac like Akwanga to be propped by the Swiss and to go out repeating nonsense and speaking on the behalf of Southern Cameroons. That will not happen. So in the days ahead, perhaps weeks ahead, I hope not months, so we shall come out. I hope this thing will be done as soon as possible, so we can have another block of Southern Cameroon movements that will be approaching the Swiss, and we shall be putting forward our own proposal for a negotiated settlement between Ambazonia and La Republic of Cameroon. When you even watched the video and you saw what the Swiss HD guy was talking about on BBC on their ceasefire declaration made with Akwanga, he was still calling that we would look at, we was still calling Southern Cameroonians like the warring parties. We are not warring parties. This conflict is between Southern Cameroons and the Republic of Cameroons. So the Swiss should get themselves together, because we are not parties. We are not political parties. We are not. This is not a political conflict. This is a conflict, international conflict of occupation. So there's only two parties here: Ambazonians and the Republic of Cameroon. So the Swiss age is to get this very clear. So they should not be mimicking their words. They should not be doing that. So Ambazonians, this is what we are going to be doing in the days ahead, and I will continue to propose my approach and proposal to the leaders, and I think it's a very fantastic idea that we have another bloc that is going to step up and join this the Swiss talks, and we move forward with this negotiation, because we need to get this going. Because when you look now, the international community is very busy with the corona crisis, and people are dying, and it is very bad. We must get our act together so we can try to fight and get Ambazonia independent as soon as possible. So my country people, to wrap up to go back to my main point, which I've talked about, I have been speaking today, is that the Swiss are behind Akwanga going on BBC to declare ceasefire. The Swiss government contacted the Cameroon government to declare ceasefire. The Cameroon government refused, because the ceasefire, if the Cameroon government declare any ceasefire, it will be a victory for Ambazonia, because it will have huge international implications for the Cameroon government. The Cameroon government will never declare ceasefire. They will only surrender. They cannot declare ceasefire, because if they declare ceasefire, means that their narrative that there is no armed conflict, that we are terrorists, that Cameroon is one and indivisible, that Ambazonia is that they are having a internal conflict, is going to be proven wrong. That's why they can't. So the Swiss now turn to find an scapegoat, and that's why they employ Akwanga and get him to go on BBC and make that useless unilateral declaration. And these are things that we are telling our people, that Akwanga, his family, his friends and relatives, people have contacted us, and they have expressed their concern that Akwanga is suffering from mental illness, and they have pledged that Akwanga and Ambazonians should be kind, and they should forgive Akwanga, and they should ignore him. And we pray also that Akwanga recover from his mental illness, because we know that if Akwanga was normal, he will not go on to declare a unilateral ceasefire for a war that was declared on Ambazonia by the Cameroon government. We know that if Akwanga was not mentally sick, he will not go on to declare unilateral ceasefire over a territory he doesn't control. We know that if Akwanga was not mentally sick, he will not go on BBC to declare unilateral ceasefire without consulting with other groups who are fighting on the ground. So we have every reason to believe that Akwanga is mentally sick, as his family and friends are suggesting. And we send this message also to the HD. The HD should involve to try to give Akwanga help. Akwanga should find help. Perhaps he should seek help from some medical professionals to help him get healed and to get well. And we pray that he recover from his mental instability. So Ambazonians, we must look forward. We must keep our head high. This struggle is stronger today than ever before. And coronavirus is going to give us a very big window. A very big window. And that's why Cameroon government is in panic themselves, because we understand that coronavirus is going to break them down. Coronavirus is going to affect their soldiers, affect their population, and we shall have a new situation. When that happens, we shall be there and we shall take our moment and we shall get out and get our people to Buea as soon as we can. So thank you very much for those who have been here watching today. I can see your comments there. I'm going to read them after I finish, and I'll be talking with some of you as well. And you watch later, please, you can put a comment as well and get it. I will talk with you and get in contact. So this is why we are saying that it is not our place to declare unilateral ceasefire. We don't even need to worry about ceasefire. We don't. So it's not that nobody hates Akwanga or have any jealousy for Akwanga. No, but just it was a rogue movement. It's a movement that shows that there is some kind of like mental decadence going on with Akwanga. And we feel sorry for that. We wish him all the best. That we hope he recovers from his mental illness. But the struggle must continue. Nobody is indispensable. Ambazonians, we must stay forward. Even if I fall tomorrow, Ambazonians, I would be very disappointed if you give up this struggle. Even if I'm no more, this struggle must continue. If I die tomorrow, this struggle must continue. That is what is going to give me joy in my grave. So this struggle, and I say also, nobody is more than this struggle or bigger than the struggle. If tomorrow you see me coming out to say things that are against the struggle, I will tell you, Ambazonians, if you see me on the street, you can attack me and even give me punch in the face. And you should reject me as well, because nobody is indispensable. We must fight together and keep ourselves accountable. We must hold everybody accountable. Akwanga, according to Ambazonians, as for us, Akwanga is no more. Akwanga is gone. Akwanga is in the dustbin. Akwanga has been buried by the Swiss. Akwanga has been buried in the Swiss cheese. And we are done with Akwanga Ebenezer. So our people should not worry. We are doing all we can to make things and to put out the right information out there, and we shall get to that position and we shall move forward. So please, Ambazonians, intensify your support on the ground. We need to fund the boys on the ground. We need to fund our soldiers, and we must keep our boys active, and we must also support our communities with all this initiatives that is going on about the coronavirus. Like I said, please stay home in ground zero. Wash your hands with soap as often as you can. If you are sick, stay at home. When you go out, don't greet people, don't shake hands, don't hug anyone, don't kiss any person. Please avoid yourself from being contaminated. Don't travel to La Republic du Cameroon. Don't go to Douala or Yaoundé, because those are the cities where coronavirus is very high. If you can keep it in La Republic du Cameroon, it will be good for our people back home. And Corona is going to deal with La Republic du Cameroon. And when that happens, Ambazonia will be in a position of strength, and we shall prosecute our revolution to the finish line. So thank you very much for being here today. And I will follow up this issue, and we shall give you more information in the days ahead. And I believe and I trust on you. I count on your tenacity and your support. I will say, this generation is the God-given generation to free Ambazonia, and this generation is generation of victory and the generation that is going to accomplish this mission. So thank you very much for being here tonight. For going out, I think I will come up with the national anthem again, and then we shall round up. So if you are just joining, you can watch the show after I finish. I'm just rounding up now. So the anthem, and then we are out. Hail, hail, hail this land of glory. We the Ambazonians who pledge our loyalty. Praise the Son and Savior who granted us our freedom. Allegiance to the hero who bought the land with their blood. Glory to glory, we rise to never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation of joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation. Yes, fellow Ambazonians, thank you very much for being here with me. I am at the end of my live show now. I will be live again next week and Sunday, same time. And we are following up developments and we are doing a lot of stuff. So I hope by next week we shall have this new block formed and we shall have something new for our people. But please, I will advise, as Akwanga's friends and family have advised, that Akwanga is sick. We believe he's sick because if he was not sick, he will not declare unilateral ceasefire. If he was not sick, he will not do what he's doing. So they said if the man is mentally sick, please be kind to him. He's mentally sick. Just ignore him and let us stay focused on our struggle and move forward. Ambazonians, for me, this is end of my live show. It has been very good live show here and a lot of important information you can watch after and you can get the points and you can get the facts. And please share and share and share. And for me from Helsinki, this is good night. Stay safe. Bye-bye.